The massive alien ship hung in space like a silver mountain. Ambassador Kang Minho pressed his face against the small window of the human shuttle. He had never seen anything so huge in his life. The ship was 10 times bigger than Earth's largest space station. "Are you nervous, sir?" asked Captain Park Samin from the pilot seat. She was trying to sound calm, but her voice shook a little. "Yes, I am nervous," Minho said honestly. "Today we find out if humans have a place in this galaxy or not. 3 months ago, alien ships had appeared near Earth. They did not attack. Instead, they sent a message. The message was simple: join the Galactic Council or stay alone on your small planet forever. Earth's leaders had no choice. They had to send someone to talk with these aliens. The shuttle docked with the alien ship. The airlock opened with a soft hiss. Minho stepped into a corridor that was too tall and too wide for humans. Everything was built for beings much larger than people. 2 aliens waited for him. The first one looked like a giant lizard that walked on 2 legs. Its skin was dark green and covered with scales. Red eyes stared down at Minho. This was General Krex of the Vorthak Empire. The second alien was stranger. It looked like a walking crystal that glowed with blue light. The crystal voice of the Nethys Collective did not have a mouth. Instead, it spoke by making the air vibrate around it. "So this is a human," General Krex said. His voice was deep and rough. "You are much smaller than I expected." "Size is not everything," Minho replied carefully. He had practiced this conversation many times. The crystal voice made a sound like breaking glass. This was how the Nethys laughed. "Indeed, size means nothing, but strength does. Come, human. The council waits." They walked through long hallways, filled with other aliens. Minho saw beings made of gas that floated in glass suits. He saw creatures with 6 arms and purple fur. He saw things that looked like metal spiders but were alive. None of them looked friendly. The council chamber was enormous. Hundreds of different alien species sat in circles around a central platform. The noise was incredible. Every species spoke in their own language. Some roared, some whistled, some made clicking sounds. "Welcome, human," said a voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "I am the first speaker. You may approach." Minho walked to the center platform. His boots echoed in the sudden silence. Every alien eye was watching him. Some looked curious. Most looked bored. A few looked hungry. "State your species name and your purpose," the first speaker commanded. I am Ambassador Kang Minho of the human race from planet Earth," Minho said. He tried to make his voice strong and clear. "We come seeking membership in the Galactic Council. Humans." General Krex stood up from his seat. "Yes, we have heard of your species. You fight with primitive weapons, bullets and explosives. Very crude." Murmurs went around the chamber. Many aliens made sounds that were probably laughter. "Your technology is thousands of years behind ours," the crystal voice added. "Your ships are slow. Your computers are simple. What can such a primitive species offer the Council?" "We offer our loyalty and our willingness to learn," Minho said. "But can you fight?" asked a new voice. An alien that looked like a giant insect clicked its mandibles together. "The galaxy faces a great threat. The devourers come from beyond the rim. They consume everything: planets, ships, entire species. We need warriors, not students." "Humans know how to fight," Minho said firmly. "We have been fighting for thousands of years. Fighting each other on one small planet." General Krex snorted. "That is not the same as space warfare. Your species lacks the mental coordination needed for modern combat. You do not share thoughts like the Nethys. You do not have our battle algorithms. You fight with emotion instead of logic." The first speaker raised a hand for silence. "The human question will be decided simply. Our fleets prepare to face the devourer advance. If humans wish to prove their worth, they will join this battle." "What role would we play?" Minho asked. "Supply protection," the crystal voice said dismissively. "Your ships can guard the rear areas while real warriors engage the enemy." If you survive, you may earn a small place in our alliance. Minho felt anger rise in his chest, but he kept his face calm. We accept this opportunity. Good, the first speaker said. General Krex will provide you with tactical information. The crystal voice will assign your fleet positions. Do not disappoint us, human. The Devourers show no mercy to the weak. The Dura council session ended. Aliens began filing out of the chamber in groups. They talked among themselves and ignored Minho completely. He might as well have been invisible. General Krex approached him. Up close, the alien was even more frightening. He was 3 meters tall with claws that could tear metal. A word of advice, human, Krex said. The Devourers are not like the enemies you have faced. They learn, they adapt. They turn your own weapons against you. Stick to the plan we give you. Do not try to be clever. Clever species are extinct species. The crystal voice floated closer. Its blue glow hurt Minho's eyes. Your Admiral Kim Hyunwoo seems competent for a human, it said. We have reviewed his service record, but competence is not enough against the Devourers. They have consumed 17 species already. Each one thought they were special. Each one thought they could find a new way to win. What happened to them? Minho asked. They became food, General Krex answered. The Devourers grow stronger with every meal. That is why we fight with proven methods. That is why you will stay in the rear and follow orders exactly. Minho nodded but said nothing. Inside, he was thinking about Admiral Kim Hyunwoo back on the human command ship. The Admiral had been studying alien battle reports for weeks. He had found things that worried him, patterns that did not make sense, losses that could have been avoided. But now was not the time to share those concerns. When do we begin? Minho asked. The fleet moves in 3 days, General Krex said. Try not to get in our way, human. This war will be won by strength and discipline, not by the chaotic methods your species prefers. As Minho walked back to his shuttle, he thought about those words. Chaotic methods. Maybe General Krex was right. Maybe humans were too chaotic for modern warfare. But chaos had served humanity well for a very long time. Soon they would all find out if it would serve them again. Captain Park Soman was waiting by the shuttle. She took one look at his face and knew the meeting had not gone well. Supply duty? She asked. Supply duty, he confirmed. The Admiral is not going to like this. No, Minho agreed. But maybe that is exactly what we need. 3 weeks had passed since the council meeting. The combined alien fleet moved through space toward the Kepler 442 system. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the human flagship Seoul, watching the alien ships around them. The alien vessels were beautiful and deadly. The Vorthak ships looked like metal dragons with weapons that glowed red-hot. The Nethys ships were perfect crystal pyramids that bent light around them. Other species had ships that defied human understanding of physics. Sir, our position puts us 12 hours behind the main battle line, reported Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yunji. She was the fleet's tactical officer and one of the smartest people Hyunwoo had ever met. Exactly where they want us, Hyunwoo said quietly. Far enough back to be safe, close enough to carry supplies when needed. The crew is not happy about it, sir, said Captain Lee Jinwoo. His destroyer Busan was running patrol routes around the EQ supply convoy. They joined the fleet to fight, not to play delivery service. Hyunwoo understood their frustration. Every human in the fleet was a volunteer. They had left Earth knowing they might never return. Being treated like cargo haulers was insulting. Contact from the Vorthak flagship, announced communications officer. Nam Ji-young. General Krex wants to speak with you, sir. Put him through. The main screen flickered. General Krex's scaled face appeared. Behind him, the bridge of his ship buzzed with activity. Human Admiral, Krex said without any greeting. Our scouts report Devourer ships 3 hours ahead. This will be your first chance to see real space combat. Watch and learn. Do not interfere. The connection ended before Hyunwoo could respond. Friendly as always, muttered Captain Lee. 2 hours later, alarms began sounding throughout the fleet. The Devourers had been found. All ships' battle stations, Hyunwoo ordered. Move the supply convoy to minimum safe distance. All combat ships. Maintain rearguard positions but be ready to move. The alien fleet spread out into perfect formations. Every ship knew exactly where to go. The coordination was flawless. Hyunwoo had to admit it was impressive. The Devourers came into view on the long-range sensors. They were not ships in any normal sense. They looked like giant sea creatures made of metal and flesh. Some had tentacles that writhed through space. Others had mouths full of spinning teeth. All of them pulsed with an evil red glow. "My God," whispered Captain Lee. "What are those things?" "Our enemy," Hyunwoo replied grimly. The battle began with the aliens firing first. Brilliant beams of energy and streams of plasma filled the space between the fleets. The alien weapons were incredibly powerful. Several small Devourer ships simply vanished in balls of fire. But the Devourers fought back. They moved in ways that should have been impossible. Some folded space around themselves to avoid incoming fire. Others split apart into smaller pieces when hit, then reformed moments later. "Sir, the Vorthak heavy cruiser Flame of Victory is in trouble," reported Choi Yunji. "They took multiple hits and are losing power." On the screen they could see the massive, alien ship spinning helplessly. Parts of its hull glowed white-hot from damage. Small explosions flickered along its sides. "They are requesting assistance," Nam Ji-young said. "Signal Sergeant Major Yoon Dae-ho," Hyunwoo ordered. "Tell him to prep a repair team. Captain Lee, bring us alongside that cruiser." "Sir, our orders were to stay back," Lee reminded him. "Our orders were to provide support," Hyunwoo corrected. "That ship needs support." The Soul moved toward the damaged Vorthak vessel. Other human ships followed. The alien commanders were too busy fighting to notice or object. Sergeant Major Yoon Dae-ho led a team of 20 humans across to the alien ship. The Vorthak crew was surprised to see them but accepted their help. Inside the alien ship, Dae-ho saw how the Vorthak fought. Every action was planned in advance. Every response followed a detailed algorithm. When their main computer calculated the best target, all ships fired at once. When the computer said retreat, they all pulled back together. Very efficient, Dae-ho thought. But he also noticed problems. When a group of Devourer ships moved in an unexpected pattern, the Vorthak hesitated. Their computer needed time to calculate a new response. During that hesitation, the enemy struck hard. "Your people fight well," said Subcommander Thex. He was a young Vorthak officer who spoke some human language. "But you fight strangely." "How do we fight strangely?" Dae-ho asked while welding a damaged power coupling. "You do not wait for orders," Thex explained. "When you saw we needed help, you just came. No calculations. No committee meetings. You simply acted." "That is how humans work," Dae-ho said. "We see a problem and we fix it." "But what if you are wrong?" Thex asked. "What if your quick decision makes things worse?" "Then we fix that problem too," Dae-ho answered with a grin. The battle continued around them. The aliens were winning, but slowly. Their superior technology was gradually wearing down the Devourer force, but Dae-ho noticed something troubling. The Devourers were learning. At first, the alien plasma beams had destroyed Devourer ships easily, but now some Devourers had developed new hull materials that absorbed plasma instead of being burned by it. The crystal weapons of the Nethys had been devastating initially, but newer Devourer ships reflected the beams back at their attackers. They adapt, Dae-ho realized. He activated his comm unit. "Sol, this is Dae-ho. Put me through to the Admiral." "Go ahead, Sergeant Major," came Hyunwoo's voice. "Sir, the Devourers are learning from this fight. Each hit makes them stronger against that type of weapon. The aliens do not seem to notice." There was a pause. "Understood. Continue your mission." Back. On the Seoul, Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yoonji was tracking the same pattern. Her tactical computers showed the declining effectiveness of alien weapons over time. "Admiral, this is bad," she said quietly. "If the Devourers can adapt this quickly, then standard tactics will not work." "Signal the supply convoy," Hyunwoo ordered. "Increase distance to maximum safe range." "Sir, incoming priority transmission from the Crystal Voice," reported Nam Ji-young. The communication came through as text on a screen. The Nethys did not use voice communications during battle. Human ships moved to evacuation positions immediately, the message read. Large Devourer force detected approaching convoy route. You are not equipped for combat against this enemy. Sir, contact from Captain Yu Sungho on the destroyer Gwangju, Nam Jiyoung announced. He reports multiple Devourer ships breaking through the alien defensive line. They are heading straight for us. Hyunwoo looked at the tactical display. 6. Large Devourer ships had somehow gotten past the alien fleet. They moved with frightening speed toward the supply convoy. All ships prepare for combat, he ordered. We cannot run fast enough with the convoy. We have to fight. Sir, the alien fleet is too far away to help, Choi Yun-ji warned. We are on our own. Then we do this the human way, Hyunwoo said grimly. All ships attack independently. Do not wait for coordinated orders. Hit them with everything we have. The human ships charged toward the approaching Devourers. It should have been suicide. The human vessels were smaller and less advanced than the alien ships that had been struggling all day. But Captain Yu Sungho had an idea. All power to engines, he told his crew. We are going to ram the biggest one. Sir, that will destroy us, his weapons officer protested. Not if we do it right, Sungho replied. He activated the ship-wide communication. All hands to escape pods. 30 seconds. The Gwangju accelerated to maximum speed. At the last moment, Sungho ejected in his command pod. His ship smashed into the lead Devourer at tremendous velocity. The explosion lit up space for thousands of kilometers. One down, Admiral Hyunwoo said with satisfaction. Now let us get the rest. The explosion from Captain Yu Sungho's sacrifice lit up the dark space like a new star. But there was no time to celebrate. 5 more Devourer ships still moved toward the human fleet like hungry predators. Sir, the main Devourer force has arrived, Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yun-ji announced from her tactical station. Her voice was tight with fear. Sensors show over 200 contacts. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo looked at the display screen. The new Devourer fleet was massive. Ships of every size and shape filled the darkness. Some looked like metal whales with glowing wounds along their sides. Others resembled giant spiders with legs that could grab and crush enemy vessels. My God, whispered Captain Lee Jinwoo. How do we fight something like that? The answer came quickly. The alien fleet engaged the Devourers with everything they had. Plasma beams and crystal weapons filled space with deadly light. For a moment, it looked like the superior alien technology would win the day. But then something terrible happened. Sir, the alien weapons are losing effectiveness, Choi Yun-ji reported. The Devourer ships are adapting faster than before. Much faster. On the screen, they could see the truth. The first Devourer ships hit by Vorthak plasma simply absorbed the energy. Their hull plates changed color and texture to deflect the beams. The Nethys crystal weapons were even worse. Some Devourer ships had grown mirror-like surfaces that sent the attacks back at their attackers. They are learning from every hit, Hyunwoo realized. Each attack makes them stronger against that weapon type. A communication came from General Krex on the Vorthak flagship. The alien leader appeared on screen, but he looked different now. His confident arrogance was gone. Instead, he looked worried and confused. Human Admiral, Krex said urgently. Our battle computers cannot calculate an effective response. The enemy adapts too quickly for our algorithms. We need new tactics immediately. What do you suggest, General? Hyunwoo asked. You humans fight without planning, Krex replied. Perhaps your chaos can confuse them where our order has failed. Hyunwoo almost smiled. 3 weeks ago, the aliens had dismissed human tactics as primitive chaos. Now they were asking for help. All human ships, he announced on the fleet channel. We are cleared for independent action. Major General Nam Tae-hyun will coordinate ground operations. Captain Song Min-jun will lead fighter operations. Everyone else follow Protocol Chaos. Sir, what is Protocol Chaos? Asked Captain Lee. Something I hope the Devourers cannot adapt to, Hyunwoo answered. Complete tactical unpredictability. The human ships spread out in seemingly random directions. No 2 vessels use the same approach or weapons pattern, Captain Song Min-jun led his fighter squadron in a wild charge directly at the center of the Devourer formation. "Red Leader, this is insane," called one of his pilots. "We will be destroyed." "Maybe," Song replied calmly, "but we will hurt them first. Remember, everyone used different attack patterns, no coordination, pure chaos." The human fighters dove into the enemy formation like angry wasps. Each pilot chose his own targets and methods. Some used missiles, others preferred guns. A few pilots actually rammed their fighters into enemy ships after ejecting at the last second. The Devourers tried to adapt but could not keep up. Every human attack was different. There were no patterns to learn from. On the medical ship Hope, Dr. An Ji-won watched the battle through the ship's sensors. She was a xenobiologist who had studied alien life forms her entire career. What she saw made her excited and terrified at the same time. "Captain Park," she called to the ship's commander, "I need to speak with Admiral Hyunwoo immediately." "Doctor, we are in the middle of a battle," Captain Park Soman replied. "That is exactly why this cannot wait," Ji-won insisted. "I understand what we are fighting." The connection to the flagship took several minutes to establish. When Admiral Hyunwoo appeared on screen, he looked stressed and tired. "Doctor, this had better be important," he said. "Sir, the Devourers are not just ships," Ji-won explained quickly. "They are living creatures, bioships that can evolve in real time. They adapt by consuming and analyzing enemy technology. But evolution requires predictable inputs." "Speak plainly, Doctor," Hyunwoo said impatiently. "They cannot adapt to pure randomness, sir," Ji-won continued. "Evolution needs patterns to work with. If we fight without any patterns at all, they cannot learn from us." Hyunwoo understood immediately. "How random do we need to be?" "As random as possible, sir. Every attack different, every tactic unique. Make it impossible for them to find any patterns to copy." "Understood, Doctor." "Thank you." The Admiral switched to the fleet communication channel. "All ships, this is Hyunwoo. New orders. Fight like humans have always fought. With creativity and desperation. Use whatever works. Change tactics constantly. Give them nothing consistent to adapt to." The response was immediate. Human ships began using tactics that would have made alien commanders faint with horror. Colonel Bae Hyuna loaded her Marines into shuttles and launched them directly at Devourer ships. Instead of using advanced weapons, her soldiers carried simple explosives and old-fashioned rifles. When they boarded the bioships, they found the organic corridors could not adapt to such primitive attacks. "These things expect energy weapons and guided missiles," she reported over the comm. "They do not know what to do with a soldier carrying dynamite and a sharp knife." Captain Han Soo-young took her stealth frigate on an unauthorized mission to rescue alien survivors from a disabled Nethys ship. The Devourers had ignored the powerless crystal vessel, but Soo-young's emotional decision to save the crew provided crucial intelligence about Devourer weak points. Commander Oh Kyung-min pushed his ship's engines far beyond safe limits. When his engineering officer protested, he replied, "Safe limits are predictable. Predictable gets us eaten." The tide of battle began to turn. The Devourers that had easily adapted to alien weapons found themselves confused and overwhelmed by human unpredictability. But the enemy was not finished yet. A massive shape began to emerge from the darkness behind the Devourer fleet. It was bigger than anything they had seen before. The mothership had arrived. "Sir, that thing is the size of a small moon," Choi Yoonji reported with awe. "And it is heading straight for us," added Captain Lee grimly. Admiral Hyunwoo looked at the monster ship approaching his fleet. Around him, the bridge crew waited for orders. The alien ships had stopped fighting and were retreating in panic. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked his communications officer. Hyunwoo smiled grimly. "Signal all ships. We are about to show the galaxy what humans do when the odds are impossible." The final phase of the battle was about to begin. The Devourer mothership moved through space like a living nightmare. It was 3 kilometers long and covered with thousands of smaller bioships that swarmed around it like angry insects. Weapons that pulsed with organic energy lined its hull. Worst of all, it was growing larger as it consumed the wreckage from the battle. "Sir, the alien fleet is in full retreat," reported Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yoonji. "General Krex is ordering all ships to fall back to minimum safe distance." Are we following their retreat? Asked Captain Lee Jinwoo. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo studied the tactical display. The smart thing would be to retreat with the aliens. The human fleet was tiny compared to that monster ship, but running away had never been the human way. Negative, he announced. All ships maintain current positions. We are going to buy time for the alien fleet to regroup. Sir, that is suicide, Lee protested. We cannot fight something that big. We are not going to fight it, Captain. Hyunwoo replied with a grim smile. We are going to annoy it to death. On the medical ship, Hope Corporal Lim Chanwoo was trying to repair damaged systems when the ship shook violently. The lights flickered and went out for several seconds. What was that? He called to the bridge. Devourer boarding pods, came Captain Park Soman's voice over the comm. 3 of them attached to our hull. Security teams are responding, but we need help. Chanwoo grabbed his toolkit and a sidearm. He was a mechanic, not a soldier, but every human in the fleet had basic combat training. The corridor was dark except for emergency lighting. He could hear the sound of cutting tools coming from the outer hull. A hole appeared in the wall, something that looked like a metal snake with teeth pushed through. Behind it came creatures that were part machine and part flesh. They had too many arms and eyes that glowed with red light. Chanwoo's rifle was useless. The creatures adapted to the energy blasts after the first few hits, so he did what any human would do when advanced technology failed. He improvised. The medical bay was full of surgical equipment and chemical supplies. Chanwoo mixed cleaning solution with surgical alcohol and some spare oxygen from the life support system. The result was a mixture that burned very hot and very unpredictably. The Devourer creatures had no defense against a homemade chemical bomb. The explosion cleared the corridor and sealed the hull breach at the same time. Bridge, this is Chanwoo, he reported. Boarding party eliminated. Used improvised explosives. Good work, Corporal, came the reply. How did you know that would work? I did not know, Chanwoo answered honestly. But it was worth trying. Similar scenes played out across the human fleet. When advanced weapons failed, human soldiers used whatever they could find. Kitchen knives became melee weapons. Spare parts became bombs. Even fire extinguishers became weapons in human hands. The crystal voice of the Nethys Collective was monitoring human communications from its flagship. As a hive-mind entity, it was fascinated by the constant chatter between human ships and crew members. Most alien species communicated only when necessary. Orders flowed down from commanders to subordinates with mathematical precision. But humans talked constantly. They joked during battle. They shared personal stories while fighting for their lives. They encouraged each other with words that had no tactical value. Inefficient. The crystal voice thought at first. But as it listened longer, it began to understand. The constant communication created connections between humans that made them stronger. When one ship was in trouble, dozens of others rushed to help without being ordered. Captain Han Soo-young was pursuing a damaged Devourer ship when she received a distress call from a Vorthak cruiser. Her orders were to maintain pursuit, but the alien ship was about to be destroyed. Navigation change course, she ordered. We are going to help that cruiser. Sir, that contradicts our mission parameters, her tactical officer pointed out. The mission is to win this battle, Han replied. Saving allies helps us win. She was right. The rescued Vorthak crew provided crucial information about a weakness they had discovered in Devourer hull armor. Information that saved dozens of ships in the following hours. Commander Oh Kyung-min had been fighting continuously for over 60 hours. His crew begged him to rest, but he refused to leave the bridge while the battle continued. His ship's medical officer tried to declare him unfit for duty. Sir, you have 3 broken ribs and a concussion, Dr. Kim Min-seo argued. You need medical attention immediately. The ship needs a captain more than I need a bed. Oh replied. He swallowed another stimulant pill and returned to his station. The alien officers watching could not understand such behavior. Their optimal efficiency protocols required regular rest periods, but humans seemed to operate on pure determination when logic said they should collapse. Major General Nam Tae-hyun, was coordinating the marine operations from his command ship when he received an urgent message from Colonel Bayhuna. "Sir, I am inside one of the smaller bioships." Her voice crackled through heavy interference. "I found something important. These things have a central nervous system just like any living creature. If we can disrupt it, the whole ship dies." "How do we disrupt it, Colonel?" Nam asked. "Very carefully, sir," came her reply, followed by the sound of an explosion. "And with a lot of explosives." 15 minutes later, the bioship stopped moving. "Colonel, Bay and her team had found the creature's brain and destroyed it with shaped charges. The technique worked so well that other marine units began boarding Devourer ships specifically to hunt for their control centers. The aliens watched in amazement as human soldiers crawled through the living corridors of enemy ships carrying nothing but knives and homemade bombs. It should have been impossible, but it was working. General Krex contacted Admiral Hyunwoo from his retreating flagship. "Human Admiral," the Vorthak leader said. "My scanners show your fleet has been fighting the mothership for over 4 hours. How are you still alive?" "We keep moving and we keep changing tactics," Hyunwoo answered. "Every time it adapts to one attack, we try something completely different." "But your losses must be severe," Krex pointed out. "We have lost 12 ships," Hyunwoo admitted. "But we have destroyed over 50 enemy vessels and damaged the mothership." Krex was silent for a moment. His battle computer had calculated that the human fleet should have been destroyed in the first 30 minutes. "What is your secret?" he finally asked. "We do not give up, General," Hyunwoo said simply. "Ever." On the bridge of the Seoul Lieutenant, Colonel Choi Yoonji was analyzing the battle data when she noticed something unusual. "Sir, the Devourer adaptation rate is slowing down," she reported. "They are having trouble keeping up with our tactical changes." "How much trouble?" Hyunwoo asked. "Significant, sir. I think we may have found their limit. They cannot adapt to pure chaos indefinitely." Hyunwoo felt a surge of hope. For the first time since the battle began, victory seemed possible. "Signal all ships," he ordered. "Maximum chaos protocol. Hit them with everything we have got. Every crazy idea anyone has been saving. Use it now." The response was immediate. Human ships began attacks that defied all military logic. Some fired their engines backward to use the exhaust as weapons. Others ejected their entire supply of spare parts as kinetic projectiles. Captain Song Minjin convinced his pilots to link their fighters together with emergency cables and spin through enemy formations like a giant blade. The Devourers tried desperately to adapt, but there were too many different attacks coming too quickly. Their evolution could not keep pace with human creativity. "Sir, the mothership is slowing down," Choi reported with excitement. "I think it is overloaded." But their celebration was premature. The mothership began to glow with a new type of energy. Something was happening inside its massive hull. "Admiral, this is Dr. An Ji-won," came a voice from the medical ship. "That energy signature matches our data on Devourer reproduction. I think it is about to spawn a new generation of ships." Hyunwoo felt his heart sink. They had fought so hard and come so close. But if the mothership produced hundreds of new bioships, the battle would be lost. "How long until the spawning is complete?" he asked. 20 minutes, sir," Ji-won replied. "Maybe less." Hyunwoo looked around his bridge. His crew was exhausted but still ready to fight. Around them, the human fleet maintained their chaotic attacks despite impossible odds. "Signal all ships," he announced. "We have 20 minutes to end this. Time to show them what humans are really capable of." The Devourer mothership pulsed with an evil red light. Along its massive hull, thousands of bulges were forming. Each bulge would soon burst open and release a new bioship into the battle. The aliens watched in horror from their safe distance, as humanity's desperate fight was about to become hopeless. "Sir, spawning process is accelerating," reported Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yoonji from her tactical station. "First wave will launch in 15 minutes. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo studied the readings. The new bioships would be even more advanced than the current ones. They would have all the adaptations learned during this battle built into their basic design. Fighting them would be nearly impossible. Admiral, we have a priority communication from General Krex," announced Communications Officer Nam Ji-young. The Fourth Act leader appeared on screen. Behind him, his bridge crew was packing equipment and preparing to retreat even further. "Human Admiral, you must withdraw immediately," Krex said urgently. "When those new ships launch, your fleet will be destroyed. In minutes." "We cannot withdraw, General," Hyunwoo replied calmly. "If that thing finishes spawning, it will be unstoppable. The entire galaxy will fall. Then we will find another way to fight them later," Krex argued. "Tactical retreat is logical when facing impossible odds. Humans do not retreat from impossible." "Odds, General," Hyunwoo said with a slight smile. "We make the odds possible." The connection ended. Around the bridge, the crew looked at their admiral with mixed expressions of admiration and terror. "Sir, what are your orders?" asked Captain Lee Jinwoo. "Signal General Shin Woo-sung on the marine assault ship Incheon," Hyunwoo commanded. "Tell him to prepare the Terran Gambit." "Sir, the Terran Gambit was rejected by Alien Command as too dangerous," Lee reminded him. "The Alien Command is not here," Hyunwoo replied grimly. "We are." 20 minutes earlier, General Shin Woo-sung had proposed a plan so reckless that every alien commander had refused to consider it. The idea was to use human ships as bait to draw the mothership into a carefully prepared trap. The problem was that most of the bait ships would be destroyed in the process. Now, with time running out, it was their only option. "All ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo," he announced on the fleet channel. "We are implementing the Terran Gambit immediately. Ships Alpha through Foxtrot will act as primary bait. Ships Golf through Mike will establish firing positions. All other vessels prepare for emergency support roles." "Sir," Captain Lee said quietly. "The Soul is designated as primary bait ship Alpha." "I know, Captain," Hyunwoo said calmly. "Order all non-essential crew to evacuation pods. We are going to get very close to that monster." The human ships rearranged themselves into the new formation. The bait ships moved directly toward the mothership, while the others spread out to surround it. To the Devourers, it looked like the humans were making a desperate final attack. Commander Park Jin-hyuk took command of the reserve fleet from his heavy cruiser Daegu. As the most senior officer after Hyunwoo, he would coordinate the trap if the admiral did not survive. "Sir, the alien fleet is requesting permission to assist," reported his communications officer. "Tell them to maintain safe distance," Jin-hyuk replied. "This is going to get messy." The mothership reacted exactly as predicted. It turned its massive bulk toward the approaching bait ships and opened fire with every weapon it possessed. Energy beams and organic projectiles filled space around the human vessels. "Evasive maneuvers," Hyunwoo ordered as his ship shook from near misses. "Make it look desperate, but keep us alive." The Soul twisted and spun through the deadly fire. Around them, the other bait ships performed similar dances of survival. 2 ships were hit and destroyed, but the rest kept coming. The mothership took the bait. It accelerated toward the human ships, eager to destroy them quickly before returning to its spawning process. This was exactly what General Shin Woo-sung had hoped for. "Now," Shin commanded from his position behind the mothership. The trap was sprung. Human ships emerged from concealment on all sides of the monster vessel. They had used the battle debris and destroyed alien ships to hide their positions. Now they opened fire from point-blank range, but this was not ordinary weapons fire. Every human ship unleashed its entire arsenal at once. Nuclear warheads, kinetic slugs, chemical explosives. Even the emergency beacons were fired as projectiles. "Everything we have," Captain Song Minjin called from his fighter. "Every missile, every bullet, every piece of metal we can throw." The mothership tried to adapt, but there were too many different attacks coming from too many directions. Its hull began to rupture under the massive assault. But the creature was not finished. In desperation, it released its partially formed offspring, early. Dozens of incomplete bioships poured from its hull like angry wasps from a damaged hive. "Sir, the spawned ships are attacking," Choi reported. "They are smaller than expected, but still dangerous." "All fighters engage the spawn," Hyunwoo ordered. "Do not let them escape or mature." Captain Han Soo-young led her squadron against the newborn bioships. They were weak and confused, but they would grow stronger quickly if given time. "Remember, they have not learned our tactics yet," she called to her pilots. "Hit them before they adapt." The fighter battle was brutal and chaotic. Human pilots used every trick they had learned during the long fight. The young bioships tried to evolve defenses, but they lacked the experience of their parent. Meanwhile, the mothership was dying. The massive creature's hull was cracked and bleeding strange fluids into space. But it had one final weapon. "Sir, massive energy buildup detected," Choi announced with alarm. "The mothership is preparing to self-destruct." "How big will the explosion be?" Hyunwoo asked. "Large enough to destroy everything within 50 kilometers, sir," she replied. Most of the human fleet was well within that range. "All ships emergency." "Retreat," Hyunwoo ordered. "Maximum speed away from the mothership." But some ships could not escape in time. The damaged vessels and those engaged with bioships would be caught in the explosion. Commander Ryu Do-hyun was in command of the heavy cruiser Ulsan. His ship had taken severe damage during the assault, and his engines were failing. "Sir, we cannot reach minimum safe distance," his engineer reported. "Engine output is down to 30%. Ryu looked around his bridge. His crew was young and brave. They had volunteered to defend Earth, and now they would die in a distant star system. Unless he could think of something. "All hands to escape pods immediately," he ordered. "Emergency evacuation. 30 seconds. "Sir, what about you?" asked his weapons officer. "I have an idea," Ryu replied. "But you need to be gone first." As his crew evacuated, Ryu studied his ship's status. The engines were damaged, but the main reactor was still stable. The weapons were nearly depleted, but he had one full spread of nuclear missiles remaining. "Computer, calculate trajectory to impact mothership reactor core," he commanded. "Trajectory calculated," the computer replied. "Warning, impact will result in complete destruction of this vessel." "I know," Ryu said grimly. "Execute." The Ulsan accelerated toward the dying mothership on what would be its final mission, but instead of trying to ram the creature, Ryu had a different plan. At the last moment, he fired every remaining missile at point-blank range, then ejected in his escape pod. The missiles penetrated deep into the mothership's hull and detonated inside its reactor core. The explosion was spectacular. Instead of one massive blast, there were dozens of smaller explosions that tore the creature apart from within. The dangerous self-destruct was prevented, and the mothership died without taking the human fleet with it. "Sir, all spawned bioships have been destroyed," reported Captain Song. "The area is clear of enemy contacts." Admiral Hyunwoo slumped in his command chair. The battle was over. Around them, space was filled with debris and the wreckage of both fleets. But they had won. "Casualties report," he requested quietly. 18 ships lost, sir," Choi reported. "But most crews survived in escape pods. Total human casualties are less than 300. It was a miracle. They had faced impossible odds and survived through courage and creativity." "Sir, we have a communication from General Krex," Nam announced. The Vorthak leader appeared on screen. His expression was completely different now. Gone was the arrogance and dismissal. Instead, he looked at Hyunwoo with something approaching awe. "Human Admiral," Krex said formally. "The Vorthak Empire requests permission to approach and render assistance to your wounded." "Permission granted, General," Hyunwoo replied. "Thank you." "No, Admiral," Krex said quietly. "Thank you. You have shown the galaxy something we had forgotten. That courage and determination can overcome any technology." The first phase of humanity's introduction to galactic warfare was complete. But Hyunwoo suspected their real challenges were just beginning. The rescue operations took 3 days. Human and alien ships worked side by side to recover survivors and salvage what they could from the battlefield. The space around Kepler 442 looked like a graveyard of metal and flesh. Admiral Kim Hyunwoo stood on the observation deck of the Seoul watching the recovery efforts. His ship had survived the battle, but barely. Hull breaches covered half the vessel, and 2 of the main engines were completely destroyed. "Sir, the final casualty reports are ready," Lieutenant Colonel Choi Yoonji announced as she approached. Her left arm was in a medical support device, but she refused to leave her duties. "How bad is it?" Hyunwoo asked. "Better than expected, sir," she replied. "We lost 18 ships but saved most of the crews. Total human deaths are 247. The alien casualties were much higher." Hyunwoo nodded grimly. Every human life lost was a tragedy, but they had accomplished something incredible. They had stopped the Devourer advance and proven that humanity deserved a place in the galactic community. "Admiral, we have visitors," Captain Lee Jinwoo reported over the ship's communication system. "General Krex and the Crystal Voice are requesting permission to come aboard." "Grant them access, Captain," Hyunwoo replied. "Direct them to Conference Room 1. 30 minutes later, the alien leaders entered the human ship. General Krex had to bend down to fit through the doorways that were built for human-sized beings. The Crystal Voice floated beside him, glowing with soft blue light. "Admiral Hyunwoo," General Krex began formally. Then he did something that shocked everyone present. The massive Vorthak warrior knelt down on one knee and lowered his head. "I offer you the battle salute of my people. In 3,000 years of Vorthak military history, we have never given this honor to another species." The Crystal Voice pulsed brighter. "The Nethys Collective adds its acknowledgement. We have analyzed your tactical methods and find them superior to our own in unconventional warfare situations. We request permission to study and learn from human combat doctrine." Hyunwoo looked at the two alien leaders. 3 weeks ago, they had dismissed humans as primitive and chaotic. Now they were asking to learn from human tactics. "You are welcome to study our methods," he replied diplomatically. "But I should warn you that our success came from not having any fixed methods at all." "Yes," the Crystal Voice responded. "This is what makes your species so fascinating. Your hive mind equivalent appears to be based on individual initiative rather than collective consciousness. Each human makes independent decisions that somehow coordinate into effective group action." General Krex stood back up to his full imposing height. "Your people fought with a ferocity we have not seen before. When logic said retreat, you attacked. When wisdom said surrender, you found new ways to fight. This is not normal behavior for intelligent species." "Maybe that is why it worked," Hyunwoo suggested with a slight smile. "Admiral," came Captain Lee's voice over the communication system. "We have an urgent message from the Galactic Council. First speaker wants to address you directly." "Put it through to this room, Captain." The wall screen activated, showing the council chamber they had visited weeks earlier. But now it was different. Instead of hundreds of bored alien representatives, the chamber was packed with excited beings all talking at once. "Admiral Hyunwoo of the human species," the first speaker announced. The chamber fell silent immediately. "The council has reviewed the battle reports from Kepler 442. Your actions have exceeded all expectations." "Thank you, first speaker," Hyunwoo replied carefully. "We did our duty." "You did far more than duty, Admiral," the first speaker continued. "You have shown tactical innovations that our military scientists are still trying to understand. The Devourer threat has been eliminated from this sector thanks to human courage and creativity." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the council chamber. Aliens that had ignored humans weeks earlier were now watching with intense interest. Therefore, the first speaker announced formally, "The Galactic Council hereby grants full membership status to the human species. Furthermore, we request that Earth provide military advisors to help develop new anti-Devourer strategies." And, added another voice from the chamber, "We formally apologize for underestimating your species. Your assignment to supply protection was an error in judgment." Hyunwoo felt a surge of pride. Humanity had earned its place among the stars through blood and determination. "The council is honored by your confidence," he replied. "But I must point out that our success came from our crew members at every level. From admiral to private, every human contributed to this victory." "Yes," the first speaker agreed. "This is another aspect of human warfare that interests us. Your species appears to value individual contribution in ways that enhance rather than disrupt group effectiveness." Over the following hours, more communications arrived from across the galaxy. Species that had never heard of humanity now wanted to establish diplomatic relations. Military academies requested human instructors. Scientists wanted to study human tactical thinking. Dr. An Jiwon was invited to address the Council's Xenobiology Committee about Devourer weaknesses. Her discovery that the creatures could not adapt to pure chaos had become the foundation for new defensive strategies. Colonel Bae Huna, received requests from 6 different species wanting to train their soldiers in human close combat techniques. Her success at destroying bioships with primitive weapons had become legendary. Captain Song Minjun was offered command positions in 3 different alien fleets. His fighter tactics had proven so effective that every military wanted to learn them. But the most significant change was in how the aliens viewed humanity as a whole. Ambassador Kang Minho received new diplomatic credentials from the Council. Instead of representing a minor species seeking acceptance, he was now Earth's official representative to the Galactic Alliance. His first assignment was to help establish joint military training programs. "Sir," Captain Lee approached Admiral Hyunwoo on the observation deck. "We have received our new orders from Earth Command." "What are our new orders, Captain?" Hyunwoo asked. "We are being assigned to the Galactic Defense Force as the primary assault fleet," Lee replied with a grin. "Earth is establishing a new military academy to train both human and alien officers in unconventional warfare tactics." "And who will command this academy?" Hyunwoo asked, though he suspected he knew the answer. "You will, sir," Lee confirmed. "Congratulations, Admiral. You are going to be the first human to teach aliens how to fight." Hyunwoo looked out at the recovering fleet. Human and alien ships worked together, repairing damage and sharing supplies. Crew members who had been strangers a week ago now treated each other as trusted comrades. "Captain," he said thoughtfully, "send a message to all human vessels. Tell them they should be proud. They have proven that humanity belongs among the stars." "Yes, sir," Lee replied. "What should we tell them about our future missions?" "Tell them the truth, Captain," Hyunwoo answered. "Tell them that this was just the beginning. The galaxy is full of threats that conventional tactics cannot handle. That is why they need us." As the fleet prepared to return to Earth space, Hyunwoo reflected on how much had changed. Humans had arrived as unwanted newcomers begging for acceptance. They were leaving as valued allies and proven warriors. The Devourers had been defeated, but other threats would emerge. When they did, the galaxy would turn to humanity for solutions that conventional thinking could not provide. General Krex's final words echoed in Hyunwoo's mind as the soul prepared for the journey home. "Admiral," the Vorthak had said before departing, "your species fights in ways that terrify our enemies and inspire our allies. This makes you the most dangerous friends and the most fearsome fighters in the galaxy." Hyunwoo smiled at the memory. Fearsome fighters. He liked the sound of that. The human fleet turned toward Earth, carrying news of victory and the promise of humanity's bright future among the stars. Behind them, the battlefield was quiet except for the work of salvage crews and the whispered conversations of aliens who would never again underestimate the species from the small blue planet. In the council chamber on the far side of the galaxy, the first speaker was already planning humanity's next assignment. There were threats in the outer rim that had defeated every conventional force sent against them. Pirates who used stolen alien technology in unpredictable ways. Ancient machines that adapted to any strategy used more than once. The galaxy had many enemies that required unconventional solutions. Now they had humans to provide those solutions. "Prepare new mission briefings," the first speaker commanded his staff. "The humans have proven they can handle impossible situations. Let us see what they can do with merely difficult ones." Back on the Sol, Admiral Hyunwoo received a priority message from Earth. President Lee had a simple question for him. "Admiral, when can you come home? The whole planet wants to celebrate your victory." Hyunwoo looked around his damaged ship at his exhausted but proud crew. They had traveled further from Earth than any humans in history. They had faced enemies that should have been impossible to defeat, and they had won through courage and creativity. "Tell the President we are coming home," he replied, "but remind him that this is just the beginning. The galaxy needs us now, and we will not let them down." The Sol and her escort ships turned toward Earth.